it's Lisa. I'm on my Use It and Move It series of doing some cards with stamps one more time and then going ahead and moving them out of my scrap space. The stamp I'm using today is from Hero Arts and it's called Large Blossom. And I'm going to do some embossing with this. And I thought I'd try embossing it on book paper. This is some that I had already done jelly printing with, so it's got lots of color on there. And then I'm going to be embossing in black, so some of the words should show through on these flowers. So let's use our embossing buddy to cover this area, and then add some Versamark ink to the stamp. I'm going to coat it really good. And then I'm going to press the paper down to the stamp so I can get a real good impression. And then we'll coat that with black embossing powder. This is Stampin' Up's embossing powder. You could use any if you wanted. Because the book paper is thin, it presses down into the stamp really well. One little corner there. Okay, good. All right. Once I know that's good and dry, I'm going to try tearing the paper from the edge so I have a torn edge. I'm not sure if I'm going to like that, but I can always trim it. See, yeah, well, I say I can always trim it. I think. I think this might have been better cut than torn, but we'll see. We'll keep going. Yeah, I think I'm going to do another one of these, and I think I'm going to do it, cut it instead of tear it. We'll see how it comes out. And that looks pretty. And then I'll be putting it on a card front. I'm not going to do white, but I'll do something else. And I have another stamp here that I want to use for the greeting. I think I'm going to tie some ribbon across the front of it too. But the words showing through and all those variations of color look really pretty. For my background, I have some Paper Tray Ink Spring Moss paper, and this I think is also a Paper Tray Ink paper. I don't remember the color. It's one I'm just about out of. I love the quality of their cardstock, but it's awfully thick. When I use it on the silhouette, I have to double cut or change my settings, and it doesn't come in 12 by 12, so I'm not planning to really expand my collection there and sort of kind of moving some of that out of my work area as well. So this is the one I did where I trimmed it out, and I've gone ahead and adhered it to this cardstock to give it a little more stability. I'm going to put a ribbon on this, and I'm using an old, this was from Stampin' Up, an old piece of metal hardware to kind of dress this up a little bit. And we're going to put this over the card. And for things like this, I just use regular Scotch tape. You could use washi tape or other adhesive. then my greeting, it's one I've had a long time, and it's from a set I don't plan to sell because I love this greeting. A quote from Oprah Winfrey. I'm using Colorbox chalk ink, Impression Blue. It inks really, really well. The more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in life to celebrate. So I think it's a beautiful card for all occasions, and certainly for a birthday card. So we're going to adhere this with some dimensional adhesive. And that's our card. And I can't decide if I want to do anything else to it. I don't think I do. I think I'm just going to leave it as that. So we have some beautiful design here on the book paper with this cling stamp from Hero Arts. And then I can put a greeting on the inside or leave it blank. For this Use It and Move It card, I'm using this stamp set, and today we're going to work with the Season's Greetings from Ornate Christmas by Inkadinka. I want to emboss this on some die cuts that I did on the silhouette. You could probably do something very similar with the Big Shot and dies, but I have the silhouette. I chose the cherry cobbler paper because it matched this cardstock. This is an old cardstock from, I think from my mind's eye, I've had it a really long time, or excuse me, designer paper, not cardstock, but I want to move it on out. I keep all my Christmas stuff in one of those little clear envelopes, and those little, kind of thick ones that you can store stuff in. And I don't keep a lot of Christmas materials, but this has been in there a while, so I've cut it up for backgrounds. I'm also going to do a matte, which was an offset on the silhouette out of some brown cardstock. This is dark chocolate from Paper Tray Ink. So let's emboss this using the embossing buddy and Versamark ink. And I will have to get my head over this in order to line it up good. I've got this as kind of a tight fit on these. Because I don't have a lot of extra space, I'm going to use some tweezers and then white embossing powder. I also use Stampin' Up's embossing powder, but you could use, of course, other brands. I like how fine theirs is. And of course, that's what I got started with, so. Alright, and I'm just going to take this over to, I have my heat gun plugged in another area of the room and heat it up, and we'll come back and assemble our card. And this is Naturals white cardstock from Stampin' Up. I don't have much of this left, and unfortunately they've discontinued. It's one of my favorite things. I have to try to find a replacement for it. I think I've seen some things like this at the craft stores, this type of cardstock that just has a little bit of flecks of other color in there, so I'll have to see if I can find something I like. Now I felt like the card needed a little bit of ribbon or something. It's kind of plain this way, so I have some white Whisper White ribbon, and I'm going to bring it around, and to make bow tying easier, I'm going to cut this. Going to take a piece of tape and tape this together. They'll be behind the die cut, and then I'm going to slip a piece of ribbon underneath and just tie it in a knot. And then I'll put this on top with some dimensional adhesive. And this design would work really well anytime you have a large single element, or especially, maybe a large greeting like this. that you want to use. Just pick a pretty pattern paper behind and put it on some die cut images, and you have a really simple Christmas card. So thanks so much for watching today.